What it do, me and nations? So the patch notes for season 9 of Season Legacy is finally out. The main thing that I want to focus on in this video is just the legend buffs and nerfs, and also for the weapon buff and nerfs as well. Now we'll be uploading videos on everything, all the buffs and nerfs next week. I kind of want to switch up things on the channel. I know pretty much a lot of y'all come by for the skins and all the other stuff, but we'll try to evolve. Try to get some more other stuff going to see how you guys feel about it. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So the legend update. So the low profile characters. The low profile no longer exists. This trait has been removed from Wraith, Lifeline, and Watson. So all our Wraith mains, our Kanai spinning Wraith mains, Lifeline mains, and Watson mains. Alright, so low profile is finally gone. Alright, the dev note where they said after our successful experiment with Wraith's hitboxes, we are now confident that we can solve balance issues between smaller and larger legends through changes to their kits and hitboxes. It's finally time for low profile to go the way of the dodo or sorry dodo. So low profile is out there. It's at the club. It's kicked out of VIP. So let's all rejoice for our Wraith Kanai spinning mains and Lifeline Watson mains. All right, speaking of Lifeline, so I think there's a lot going on with her. So now she has combat for a combat revive. No longer deploys a shield. Can now revive 2 players at the same time. Can now cancel at the revives in progress to allow your teammate to defend themselves with the knockdown shield. So her shield is no longer gone. So that big old light blue or light green indicator is now out of here. From what I heard and from what I saw from a little bit before I started recording, it looks pretty good. But once I get my hands on it, we all get our hands on and test it out, we'll see how Lifeline plays. All right, and so her Dark Heal drone. Heal rate increased from 5 HP per second to 8 HP per second, and deployment time before healing begins reduced by roughly 33%. Now, I was able to watch a clip of it. I think I watched in TSM Tanner earlier, and so it definitely goes out a whole lot faster now. It's not like she's taking forever. She says, "Pass me that sugar." No, it goes out a whole lot quicker now. So, it is quicker from what I saw. So. And definitely heals a lot more. So I think this is a pretty good buff for Lifeline. I know when people first heard about losing her shield, that okay, she may be completely useless. But at least from what I saw, I personally think that it's not too bad. But we'll have to see. Like I said, get our feel, get our hands on it once the new update drops next week. All right, the care package cooldown reduced from 6 minutes to 5 minutes. Now guarantees an upgrade if possible in 3 categories: body shield, other equipment, helmet, backpack, and knockdown shield and weapon attachments based on your team's current gear when the package arrives. So for example, if you now have, say you and your team, if you have a purple shield and you call in a care package, there will automatically be a gold, say like shield or weapon attachment or whatever upgrade or whatever is the highest upgrade that you have equipped. Now when you call in Lifeline's care package. So definitely a huge upgrade for her. Something that I like to see. I play Lifeline a lot for you guys that watch me play. So whenever, and that's part of one of the main reasons why I use Lifeline, just like the upgrade care package. Or not care package, but to upgrade her shield. All right. There's no Lifeline's kit was not in a particularly healthy place. The passive shield was extremely strong to the point of frustration, while her tactical and ultimate seemed like they were becoming more and more obsolete. These changes are aimed to redistribute the big power differential between all of her abilities, making dock and care package more powerful and effective, while tamping down on the highly binary and situational combat revive. Alright, so I'll definitely be uploading some Lifeline clips of her to see how that plays in game. Alright, now our boy Octane, the King came a long way, this season, or this past season. His stem. Reduce cooldown between stems from 4 seconds to 1 second. Increase health cost from 12 HP to 20 HP. So a lot more life taken away when you're using his stem. And also reduce cooldown between stems from 4 seconds to. So I think that's more of a balance between a buff and a nerf. Like I said, I will definitely once I get my hands on it, get some clips up. I'll show you guys also too what that looks like. And also increase bullet spread while in the air and shooting from the low launch pad trajectory. All right, so much more bullet spread when you try to shoot in the air with Octane. but that probably won't be a problem for all my controller players out there. All right, or you got really good aim on mouse and keyboard. So anyway, so Dev Note Octane continues to perform really well after the latest changes. Too well, we still love the frequency of the jump pad, but we like to make using stems something Octane thinks about doing at the right time instead of always slamming it by default. All right, so that's what the whole health thing comes into play. All right, Loba. All right, so thick Loba. So Burglar's best friend can now run and slide at full speed while aiming the bracelet. While the bracelet is in the air, Loba will no longer be slow after translocating. All right, which I think, that's a part I like about too. Because once after you use a bracelet, you're delayed or you can't shoot for, a second or two. So I think I like that. And it fixed a lot of bugs that cause bracelet tosses to fail. We will see about that. Hopefully they have fixed it. But, it looks good on paper, but we got to see it in the game and see if that really is true. So we'll see how that plays out in a black market boutique. Increase cooldown from 90 seconds to 120 seconds. All right, so basically, more time to use the ultimate to loot, which, I don't think is not really that too bad for her. All right, so this right here, we got to see in game to see if that really is fixed. I know there's an underground cult of Loba mains out there. All right, so I know all you Loba mains are excited for that. Horizon. All right. Her gravity lift reduced lift speed by 30%. Reduced side-to-side acceleration. Limited the time you can sit at the top of a gravity lift to 2 seconds. And also increased cooldown from 15 seconds to 20 seconds. So she got a pretty huge nerf for this upcoming season 9 of Season Legacy. So I know a lot of a strafing thing. Strafing was a whole lot of issues with a lot of players. But she got a huge nerf. But I like when she came into the game of Legends of Season 8 strong. So but a huge nerf for her. And also her Horizon abilities would now get zapped by Watson pylons. All right, so I'm assuming that when she throws a little pick me up or whatever, so now that can get zapped by Watson. And a Dev Note Horizon is powerful and popular, but that's not why we're making these changes. We believe that mistakes in Apex Legends should be punishable, and when Horizon could just get herself out of a bad position while popping the whole battery, this just wasn't true. These changes have two goals. One, to make it much more possible for enemies to shoot Horizon as she sits in a gravity lift, and two, make gravity lift less of an impromptu sniper tower. All right, good. So yeah, I mean, you can just pop Horizon Q. You can go bake a whole sandwich. You can go to the grocery store and back. When you pop in Horizon Q and just sit up there and do whatever. Like you can sit there for a long time. So I'm glad that they had reduced that. I played a little bit. But that's a huge nerf for Horizon. But I think that she would still be viable, obviously, because her movement and her pass was just too good, to not play. All right, Fuse, his knuckle cluster. Fuse now has 2 stats of knuckle cluster, reduced cooldown from 25 seconds to 20 seconds. Okay, all right, so they gave more stats for knuckle cluster. I would have liked probably they had give him much more wider area. All right, and plus maybe a damage buff. There's no more help is coming, but we want to be very careful how we buff him so that he doesn't just become a legend that kills you with his ability. So. Or whatever they're gonna call season 10, if they name it something else. I don't know. Maybe they call it Blisk Arrival or something. I don't know. But we'll have to see. So Bangalore, a smoke launcher now. Her smoke is now thickened. So that means that it will be a whole lot harder for her to see. Now we'll be uploading a very good, fun Bangalore game probably very soon, probably next day, probably tomorrow or whenever. So make sure you gotta look out for that. I had one of my best games yet with her. So. Last patch we optimized Bangalore smoke particles and inadvertently thinned them out. This aims to get her back to the original videos while keeping the optimizations. Okay, so they bring it back Bangalore's thickness of her smoke. So, all right, and so Bloodhound no longer receives assist from Eye of the Allfather, and so they say here Bloodhound skin is strong, but the goal of this change in particular is to reconsider assists and their implications for rank points. There's enough intrinsic value in sonar scans, and it's a slippery slope to consider. Crediting assists for other non-damaging abilities, crypto will remain an exception. The active nature of crypto's drone scan is notably different from the passive option with the Bloodhound. This should encourage Bloodhound players to act on the information they get from the scan to eliminate instances where they might try to snag a quick assist without committing to a fight in the same way crypto has to. Alright, so pretty much, for people, in rank, they just want to scan somebody right before they die to get the assist, to gain some KP or RP. So I can see why I do that, or why I did that. But okay, so no more just spamming Bloodhound in rank, just to get some RP. Crypto's drone can now scan and open care packages. Can no longer use the drone to hijack a respawn beacon. Alright, so very interesting, Crypto. So Crypto's drone can now scan and open care packages, so that's huge. And now Crypto can no longer use this drone to hijack a respawn beacon that's already in use. Alright, so now weapons updates. Now we have the marksman weapon category that includes the Bosek G7. The Bosek is a new weapon. G7 triple take was now in the care package. The 3030. Alright, and also another Bosek. I guess it's like another version of it. So the G7 Scout and the 3030 are currently in the assault rifle weapons category, but they are a bit strange in that category due to their firing style and some of their handling values. Similarly, the triple take felt a little out of place in the sniper category. With the introduction of the Bosek bow, we felt it was a good time to introduce a new weapons category, marksman weapons, which will include the G7, 3030, triple take, and the Bosek. Weapons in this category are precision weapons that are most effective up to medium to long range and are the sort of in-betweens of assault rifles and snipers. This allows us to begin moving the settings of the weapons towards more consistent value for the class and make the settings of ARs and snipers more consistent with less outliers. Alright, that's good. For starters, we are increasing the movement speed while aiming down sights for marksman weapons. They will add sniper speeds. It will now be between sniper and assault rifle speeds. Additionally, we have done some targeted normalization of hip fire spread amounts. Alright, I always I never like putting the G7 triple take, in the AR category, or not triple take, but at least the G7. Putting that in the AR category, it kind of felt weird. Alright, same thing with the 3030, but especially G7. Guess that's just me just being a day one player and just used to being it was like a sniper. You could put a 4x8 on it back in the day. That thing used to be lethal, but now obviously the highest can go is the fully kitted rotation. So these are now the gold weapons. So they add the Wingman, the Bosek, R99, Hemlock, and Sentinel, and they remove the R301, 3030 repeater, Mozambique, Longbow DMR, and the Spitfire. So these are top by now the new gold weapons heading to season legacy. Alright, so we got the gold R99 back, for my period how fans out there. So the Wingman, Handlock, the Sentinel, and the Bosek weapon are the new gold weapons for season legacy. Alright, now the hop-ups. Shadow counts fire select the target between your standard mode and shadow mode. And shadow mode rounds split into a blast pattern on firing. This hop-up will be equipable to the 3030 repeater and the Bosek. Dead Eye's tempo, firing at the perfect moment increase the fire rate. This can currently be attached to the Sentinel and the Bosek. To make room, the Hero Point and Scorpions hop-ups are being vaulted for now and won't be available. Alright, so these are new hop-ups. Like I said, I definitely will be uploading videos on that, trying out with the 3030. Well, probably more so with the Bosek, but of course with the 3030 too. Alright, for people that do love or like to use it. So bet you gotta look out for that next week. Alright, once I get my hands on everything, I get it to y'all. AR, the assault rifles, reducing the headshot multiplier for all assault rifles from 2.0 to 1.75. Alright, so a nerf to all the ARs. Wow. So that this was already in case for the Hemlock. So the affected guns are the R301 Flatline and Havoc. So my favorite gun, the R301, has got a nerf. So in a Flatline, and the Flatline was already kind of not S tier or even A tier. It kind of dropped in the recent season. But so definitely a nerf to R301. I think that will sting a little bit. But let's keep on reading. Alright, the Peacekeeper. Alright, it comes with the precision choke by default, which can be toggled off. Pellet damage reduced from 10 to 9. rechamber time increased from 0.9 seconds to 1.1 seconds. Reload times increased regular from 2.45 to 2.5. Empty from 3.35 to 3.5. Payload spread increased in general, and spread when charged increased for all charge levels from 0.65, 0.45, 0.2 to 0.85, 0.65 to 0.35, and quickly loses charge after leaving aiming down sight or ADS. All right, so the Peacekeeper is finally back on the floor. I think since the last time it was on the floor was season 4, if I'm not mistaken, season 4, not probably season 5, around there. So Peacekeeper is back. We'll see how long people love it. You know, everybody will say, "Hey man, I want a Peacekeeper back. Hey, it's back. Bring out a Peacekeeper." And then also, you know what's coming. A week later, people say, "Oh man, take it, put it back." Anyway, so since the Peacekeeper is coming out of the crate, we are bringing many of the stats back in line with the previous values. We are also reducing its damage potential and bringing in the effective range a bit, since the precision choke is always available now. Okay, so definitely more Peacekeeper. You know, we'll see. You know, how people like it. So triple take Timmy as a crate weapon. It will come with a 9 ammo clip. Sorry for my Timmys out there, but you know, there's a lot of triple take Timmys and Tommies in Apex, but as a crate weapon, it will come with a 9 ammo clip and 63 reverse ammo. Fire rate increased from 1.2 to 1.3. Time to full charge reduced from 1.1 second to 1 second. Retains charge briefly after leaving ADS. Move speed while aiming down sight has been increased to match other marksman weapons. Faster than snipers, slower than ARs. Increased spread while airborne and aiming down sights. Alright, so triple take is now in a care package. Alright, so I think I kind of wonder how that's going to affect the longbow in the center. I think maybe the longbow come back because now I think also too, now that the scroll piercer is now out, so I think maybe the longbow will start coming back, which I think is much more difficult gun to use, but viable if you know how to use it. All right, the Havoc, increased recoil controllability. All right, the Havoc, increased recoil controllability early in the pattern, so more increased recoil. All right, for the Havoc. This should help make up for the reduced headshot multiplier and make it a bit more usable in mid-range fights. Excuse me. Increase recoil. Okay, so that no words. So they made it to where it's much easier to control. All right, I was reading that the other way, and so with the Spitfire, reduce recoil controllability early in the pattern. Now, I know a lot of people want the Spitfire to be nerfed, you know, decrease damage or take away some bullets, but they're not going to do that just because of Rampart. You know, I don't think maybe in the future they probably reduces like the damage, but I highly doubt that they'll just do a hard nerf on the Spitfire just because of Rampart. The Death Note, the Spitfire is too strong at the moment, boasting good damage output with low recoil, making it a bit harder to control. Early in the pattern should give more time for opponents to fight against it. That said, we're prepared to make more changes to Spitfire if it remains too powerful, which I think will probably happen. You know, Apex is one of those games where they say, okay, you have recoil, but in Apex, it's very little to no recoil. Like once you, especially after you play the game for a while, it's not a whole lot of recoil. It's not like other, you know, battle royales or FPS like PUBG. All right, you know, you want to see recoil in a battle royale, play PUBG. All right, that game has recoil. The third repeater increased lead damage multiplier from 0.75 to 0.85. The move speed while aiming down sight has been increased to match other marksman weapons, faster than snipers, slower than ARs. Death Note, the 30 could use some love, so bringing up the amount of lead damage it does. This should make it a bit more consistent without raising its high best case damage potential. All right, so increased lead damage. ADS has increased. So we'll see if the 30 could be now more viable in Season Legacy. G7, move speed while aiming down sight has been increased to match other marksman weapons. Faster than snipers, slower than ARs. Increased hip fire spread size, reduced accuracy to be more in line with other marksman weapons. We just read that earlier. The 33 repeater and the bow set compound bow have been more accurate hip fire than the baseline marksman weapon values. So G7 Scout will be less accurate in hip fire than these other weapons. All right, and so the longbow, so increased head, so as I mentioned earlier, so the longbow increased headshot multiplier from 2.0 to 2.15. Wingman increased, same thing, headshot multiplier from 2.0 to 2.15. All right, so now that, Scorpio is at the loot pool. All right, so now that the headshot multiplier is increased for the longbow wingman. The longbow could be making a comeback. Mozambique increased magazine capacity from 4 to 6. Move the lower two pedals inward in a blast pattern. So Mozambique buff. This brings up the baseline power level. So only finding a Mozambique early match gives you more of a fighting chance and makes up for the removal of hammer points. All right, so yeah, you always spawn with a whole lot of Mozambique. So, all right, P2020, so increased bullet damage from 15 to 18. So this kind of a balance, but also lower fire rate from 0.85 to 6.25. So what the lower fire rate means that it fires slower, but you get more damage with each shot by 3. All right, so and now that hammer points are gone, so similar to Mozambique, so now that the hammer points are gone, so they increase the damage with the P2020. All right, arc stars, aim and movement, slow removed from the initial stick. So the aim, movement, and slow movement removed from the initial stick. So I guess now if you do get hit with an arc star, you can still move at normal speed. So say here, sticking someone should feel rewarded, consider it's a rare occurrence that's difficult to pull off. While the argument can be made that getting stuck should be a personal death sentence, the inability to at least relocate and spare teammates from the follow-up explosion makes it hard to counter against a coordinated team. This change should help mitigate that without stripping away the satisfaction of hitting a nice stick. All right, so if you do get hit with the arc star now, so now I think that you'll still move at normal speed. So that's good, I guess. Well, not good. Well, depending on how you look at it, it's a nerf for the arc star. Quality of life. Is that all the weapon changes? Yeah, because we're not going to continue to go on. So now they see the flight path. I know there's a whole lot here, but I'm not going to make a 30-minute video on the patch notes. I want to do more uploading videos as the season goes along. You guys can see everything. But yeah, so that's it. Pretty much that covers all the buffs and nerfs for the weapons and legends. Alright, so everything else that you guys want to check out, alright, so the link is down below for the patch notes. Like I said, I will be, of course we still focus on skins. As far as, showing them in game, pretty much I'm not, also for the store too. But, I also want to, see how this other stuff goes for you guys to see if you guys like it. But other than that, as always, guys, let me know what you think about this type of video. What are the first type of buffs and nerfs that you guys want to see. Make sure you guys comment down below. As always, guys, leave a like if you enjoy the content, subscribe below, and I'll talk to you later, Nation. Peace.